We go from playing house to boop, nope, done. I would be like distraught. That is an understatement. Anxiety ridden, panic attack having, crying on the floor. Then I would get mad and I would punch a wall or punch a floor because that's healthy. But I took everything out and thinking I was abandoned. And lo and behold, it really is just kind of that not feeling of being enough. And
hi there. Welcome to the Healthy Adult Podcast. I'm Lori Jean, and I'm the founder and CEO of Pivot. And today I have with me Katy, who I'm super excited to have on the show today. She's a very, very, very vibrant young woman who I had the pleasure of meeting at an intensive at the Glass House. And so, Katy, hey.
Hey. It's a lot of changes since I was there a couple of months ago. So, I always tell Kelly, my coach, this. I know, without you guys, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So, from the bottom of my heart, I'm so thankful and grateful for you guys coming into my life and Pivot coming into my life. So, yeah.
Aw, thank you for that. Yeah. Well, I'm so excited to hear about some of the changes.
Yeah.
Let's start there. What's happened since since I last saw you?
Well, where do I start? Like, let me break out my my journal. Let me break out my diaries here. I think the biggest thing for me, going into the Glass House, I was lost. I didn't know what to do. I found myself in these like relationships that just kept ending poorly, and I was like, why? What is the why? And going there, I remember I wrote this note and it's like, I'm going to find the why. And I'm actually very surprised. It was a lot of the reason why these things were failing is because I drinking way too much alcohol and letting alcohol really run my life and who I was. I think for anyone that knows me, they know that I have the party girl persona, especially going to college at, a prevalent party school where that was kind of our culture. It's like, Saturdays we're tailgating, we're drinking, and kind of, living in a small town. That's all we had to do. So that definitely kind of amplified it. And then, not really knowing how to process and deal with my own emotions, why would anyone want to do that? Why is that healthy? Let's just go drink and numb ourselves out. So that's what I was doing. And, unfortunately, a lot of bad habits followed with that, treating my partners poorly, and then waking up with a lot of regret around that. So, I'm happy to say that I am sober, and it's been 68 days, without alcohol. And, a lot of positive has come with that too. So it's just clear mindset. I've lost 25 pounds since I've last seen you. So it's been what? I know. Isn't that crazy? That's wild. I know.
Wow.
I know. Yeah. And obviously that's just, a lot of alcohol, a lot of late night Taco Bell runs, a lot of those buttery jacks that I so enjoy from Jack in the Box. But, I cut all that out. And then I really, once I got back, I got Class Pass. So I absolutely love it. You can go all over, try different gyms out. And specifically, I got really into boxing, actually. It was actually a fix that was recommended to me, and I'm like, oof, like I've never done this before. So of course there's anxiety and kind of nervousness around that. But I walked in and it was like, whoa, this is so great for me and stress relief. And especially if someone has got that anger kind of going on, it can be sometimes like I go get it out at the gym. And
what developmental part of self loves to box?
Probably my teen, probably that angry Katy. She's definitely out. Like, there are times where I'm like at the bag and I'm like, ooh, I see someone's face on there and it's like our freestyle. And I'm like, ooh, and like, there's just sweat slinging off me. And I remember last week, actually, I was in the middle of like, I was really feeling it last week and I was going at it. And I mean, we've been doing this. It was like 40 minutes in and we're there still. And I just gave it my all. And this girl next to me is like, I'm like, oh, I'm all good. Sorry. Just getting my anger out, getting it out on the bag. So yeah, definitely teen self, but again, a great fix. And it's helped me obviously with the weight loss as well. And again, just kind of, I get a lot of clarity too. Obviously when you're working out, you're moving a lot of different body parts and working your brain, especially having to, move really fast and react. So a great suggestion that has stuck with me. So
Yay.
um,
I
yeah,
love hearing that. I love hearing that for you. Yeah,
yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I know while we were there, there was a lot of kind of gray area with my on again, off again situationship. And, that was a tough one. I got back and we really tried. Um, I thought maybe going to Pivot, I would be a camping girly. And I'm going to be real with you, I'm not a camping girly. Catch me glamping, catch me at a hotel. But like, I tried, LJ. Like, I really gave it my best effort. And then, you know, let's throw in that it's also been 100 degrees down here in the South for whenever we got back. Thank God it's cooled off. But I realized quickly that I wasn't at a point in my kind of development that I was able to kind of handle our conflict and be able to resolve that from a healthy place. So I took a step back and unfortunately, she basically told me, "Hey, you know what? I don't want to be a part of your life anymore. I don't feel I can grow with you in my life anymore," and cut it off. And it's been honestly very hard on me. No one tells you about sobriety. I guess they do, and I really didn't think it was true, but you really do find out who your real friends are, becoming sober and really making the change for yourself. And I'm not gonna lie, I've lost just about every friend in Dallas since I've been back. But there's while I can sit here and dwell on the negative, there's been so much positive to it. It's given me more time to really hone into this process and develop who I am as a person. And, and in no way, shape, or form am I saying it like made it go faster. Cause I mean, I've still got work to do. I've got a lot of work to do. And but it's helped me stay focused on what my goal is. And my goal is to not go back to that person that I was, because I did not like her. And I know a lot of people probably did enjoy her, because she was the life of the party. But what people see on your screen and like on social media is not, not an honest reflection of kind of who they are, unless they are a real person. And there are times where I'd be like, yo, I'm having a bad day, but you don't want to be labeled as something either. So, not only did I lose her, but then also my best friend, actually the first person I called when I found out I was going to Pivot. She no longer is a part of my life, and that's okay. We're growing in different directions, and I wish her the best. I wish everyone the best that's not a part of this journey. And obviously I wish they'd be here, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, thank you for your transparency. I want to jump in here because I think it might be really helpful for some listeners that are around your age. One of the things that I love about you is I met you through my son, Seth, and which I think is really cool.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, it is really, really difficult when you have to realize that choosing yourself is going to mean losing friends. And I really think that we talked about this earlier, you're 30, how old are you?
32. 32.
30. Yeah. And it's at that time of life where it's like, pardon my language, but it's like, you're going to like have to shit or get off the pot. Like something's got to change here. And
Exactly.
I love that, you came in with that act hunger of really wanting to find yourself. Like, okay, I've been living like this. You're educated, you're an athlete. I mean, there's so much more to you besides just that
Yeah.
girl that just got sober that I want to hit on today. Cause I
Yeah.
love all those parts of you.
Yeah.
And, but when you really look at making that choice, I choose me, I'm worthy, right? It's
Yeah.
a tough one. It's a tough one because sometimes the people that you're surrounded by, they're not in for the change because
No, no.
the relationships are changing and growing. But I just wanted to stop for a minute and just really pause with that thought, because that is why so many people have a hard time choosing themselves and actually
Yeah.
engaging in some kind of a change process. When I met you, when you came in on Monday, because we're not a drug and alcohol facility, we're a coaching company, and we have this great
Yep.
place where people come for a 5-day retreat. And
Mm-hmm.
man, you walked in there and you had this act hunger to really want to find yourself and really find out what it was going to be to make you feel healthier. And the fact that you yourself decided the best thing to do is change your relationship to alcohol and
Yeah.
change your relationship with food and
Yep.
take a real honest look at the relationships in your life, and you were able to embrace all that, and now talking to you today, girl, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I mean,
It is. I think,
that's a Mount Everest climb.
I'm not gonna lie, straight up, and if y'all got a bleep, put it on. It's been a bitch, man. Changing is not easy. Like
That's
waking up every day. There are days where I don't want to get out of that bed. I want to lay in bed all day. I want to
mhm.
cry. I want to have my feelings. I want to just sit there. But it's like I remember a few weeks ago, again, I keep saying this, but it's like these little things, these glimmer things that I remember. And it's like, I remember, man, I woke up and I was like, dang, like I'm feeling so down about this past relationship. And then also my friend, my good friend who's no longer a part of my life. And I was like, I thought to myself, I'm like, Katy, you can either sit here, lay in bed, cry, work from your bed today, or you can get up, put on your favorite song right now, go take a shower and get the day going. And that's exactly what I did. I put on Speed Drive by Charlie XCX off that Barbie album. And I said, let's go. And, next thing you know, I'm just like showered, ready to go, killing work, and not letting those kind of thoughts rule my day. And I will tell you, I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not had these steps and the coaching that I've had and in going to the intensive. I mean, I remember one of my last breakups. It was horrible. I mean, it was awful for me. I hate to say it, but people were on suicide watch, because they were like, oh, what's Katy gonna do? Because I was a loose cannon, but it's like now it's like, damn, there's so much more to life than that. And it is possible, but you have to want it for yourself. And, you see these things on Instagram, and I keep like referring to social because it's such a big aspect of everyone's life these days. And it's like these influencers and all these people like, oh, you can change it, blah, blah, blah. And like how I did it. And it's just like, stop believing that shit. Go do it yourself. Go take a hard look in the mirror and decide, hey, do I want to be this person that I've been? And I know that I've done this kind of negatively in life or whatever it may be, or do I want to make that change? And it's like, it's there. Everyone has it in them. They just got to want it. And, like,
Mhm.
God bless your son for me and meeting him when I did, and him introducing me to the kind of pivot process and you and hashtag healthy adult, because that I would have never known. But yeah, man, I really wish that people would kind of just take a step because it's there. I mean, we all have it. It's just
Mhm.
I kind of say it's like, how bad do you want it? And like you said, it's like
Yeah, I love that. I love that act hunger that you have, that energy that you have. And I know that
yeah.
you were and are an athlete, obviously, class pass
Yeah.
queen.
I wish I could say that. I wish I could say that. One of my old.
You're a class pass. But no, tell us a little bit about your background with being an athlete.
So yeah, I mean, growing up, my parents always kind of kept us active. I mean, obviously, I grew up in like the early '90s, so TV was a thing. But my parents were like, "Yo, go outside and go play in a tree. If you guys fall out of it, it's okay. Just rub some dirt in it, right?" But no, we were always active. I played. Well, I tried to play. I wasn't very good at it. Basketball. We did soccer. I actually played street hockey. That was fun. My parents should have known then, like, she's not straight. But hey, whatever, it's cool.
Mhm.
And then I really, really got into tennis, and that's what I've been kind of doing since, shoot, I guess I really got into it in like when my aunt was alive. She passed away when I was in eighth grade, but she always was interested in it. So I kind of had an interest. And then my dad was taking lessons. So I started kind of just playing and being there. But then once I got into ninth grade and they were like, oh shit, Katie's pretty good at this. And I could see it myself. I knew I was, and that sounds cocky, but I knew I was pretty decent. You go from playing on the freshman team to being on, number one on JV, number two on JV. And then we switched high schools because long story there, but switched high schools. And I was on varsity team, 10th grade throughout. And, playing club tennis, playing for USTA, State of Texas Tennis. And then I actually had scholarship offers to go to smaller schools, D3s, but I decided that I wanted to go to Ole Miss and become the ultimate party girly. So that's kind of what I did. And I dropped off playing tennis, which I think would have helped me in college a little bit structurally, with everything. But then, once I moved to Dallas, quite a few years later, I actually got involved with, coaching tennis, and it's with Dallas Wheelchair Tennis Association. And a lot of people are like, how the hell do you coach wheelchair tennis? You're able-bodied. And it's, I go out there and I'm kind of like cheerleader. I'm kind of wherever they need me to be. If it's just picking up balls that day, it's just picking up balls. But no, it's definitely something that's given me, more meaning to life, like watching these kids grow up too, and it's like, it's kind of like, I wish I could have done that, or I wish I could see that in myself and have someone kind of like me there to kind of tell them, hey, this is what I did in my experience, and it not be from like an older figure or, someone with gray hair. No offense to any older people, but just someone kind of around that age, that would have guided me too. So I'm still coaching tennis, still playing tennis. We're doing an expo this weekend, so that'll be Saturday. I'll be out at the expo, doing demos and whatnot with the kids and coaches. So yeah, that's kind of my story with athletics and working out.
Yeah, no, I remember when you came to the Glass House, and you were telling us the story of, working with people. And I don't want to not use the correct terminology, but I just love the way you just lit up and really talked about just how much strength and courage that I know, and limitations that these people had, but didn't have any, just were like, there, like, and working hard and showing up. And it was so inspirational for you as a coach.
Yeah.
Like, I just loved that.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we just wrapped up. We do, it's like every quarter they do a coaching kind of tennis all-stars at Scottish Rite Children's Hospital. So it's an orthopedic hospital here in Dallas. I'm pretty sure it's nationwide. I could be wrong. But there was a girl, and like I had never like hit with her, because I'm kind of moving around hitting with everyone else. And when I say hitting, we're literally like hitting foam balls ups and downs, because we don't know what the disabilities are, but we don't go too intense, obviously, and we also don't want to be chasing a lot of balls around in the dark. But one of the nurses came up and she said, Katy, oh my gosh, so and so was just talking about you and how she just loves watching you play and like just loves your energy. And I was like, why didn't she ever come say what's up? And so the next class I went up and I was like, hey girl, what's up? Like, let's hit, let's work on some, whatever we were doing that day. But no, I mean, it's just, I know it makes me feel good. But also like, I went up in the hospital and I got to help bring the kids down. And it's like, that kind of being in a hospital room for a majority of the time is got to be so incredibly difficult. And, if it's just that hour a week that they get that's out there, and I can do something to put a smile on their face or kind of take a little worry away if they've got a surgery the next day or anything like that. Like, it's just, that's why I'm there. It just makes me feel so, the cup is so full, it's overflowing. And now I'm very blessed that I found that opportunity. And it was actually my parents' neighbor who introduced me to it. So very blessed for Nora. I know she'll be watching this. So yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
That kind of work is so important. Really important.
Yeah.
So how about we shift gears to another topic that I think is so important, again, and age appropriate, anxiety.
The big A word.
The big A word. Yes. Let's talk about anxiety. I'm so curious, I mean, obviously, I worked in a licensed treatment facility for a while, and I've been around behavioral health and listened to a lot of speakers and been to a lot of conferences and understand diagnosis now, and, on and on and on. But what I'm curious about, and I'd love to have a conversation with you about, is that I haven't met anyone your age recently that doesn't say they have anxiety. And many of them have been diagnosed with anxiety, this anxiety disorder. How do you feel about that? Like, talk to me. Like,
You know, I mean, anxiety is
Do you
it's
think it's,
go,
well, go
go
ahead.
for it. I was gonna say it's just such like a hard topic because I know I remember sharing this kind of with my now ex. We were talking about panic attacks because I was someone that I mean I suffered from panic attacks and they were bad. Like I would get them, I'm down on the ground like literally like I can't move, my body's like clenched up. And kind of the way she had panic attacks were different. So kind of why I'm saying this is like anxiety is different for everyone. Like how I feel when I'm anxious might not be how you feel or whoever it is feels. So it's kind of like there's this overwhelming like question mark around it like you know um is it anxiety or what is it? And I know if I was diagnosed with it shoot back in 2009, so right whenever I left for college, which I mean heck, let's get real. I'm going from being an athlete and quite honestly like kind of got passed through school because I was pretty decent with what I was doing. So I didn't really have to focus too hard on school. Now that doesn't say that I didn't. My parents definitely put me in after school programs, which I hated them for at the time, but it did help pay off in the end. But yeah, I lost my train of thought there. So straight
Talking
up
about
lost my train of thought.
anxiety. No, it's okay. Talking about different people that it has a different.
Oh yeah, so right, it was right around the time of going to college that I got diagnosed, and of course, I'm leaving home. I'm going to a whole different atmosphere, different state. Parents aren't going to be there. Not going to, what are friends? Am I going to rush? What do I wear? Even things like that. So, of course, it was natural that I feel like I was diagnosed with it. But then as I got further into kind of working with my psychiatrist, we really diagnosed and pinpointed it specifically at that time to testing. So, um, I've always kind of had an issue with school where I just I'll get to a test or I'll get to whatever quiz and I would look down and the paper would go blank. I'm like, what is going on? And, you know, so then I'm freaking out there and then it's like everything comes to, and then you've got someone who's like literally tapping a pencil or they're clicking to put their lead out for the pencil or, a pen. And it's like, that's distracting me. And I never could figure it out. And then finally my psychiatrist prescribed me medication and, thankfully Ole Miss accommodated me and I had extra testing time. I went into a silent room. They gave me a couple other things, but it really did help kind of get me through school. And then, once school was finished, it's like, okay, now what am I anxious about? Well, I'm going into this big old world and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. What am I going to do with my life? Like I just graduated, I got this degree. So then I decide, hey, let's move to Denver, Colorado. And, there was a lot of ups and downs. But, I think a lot of my anxiety at that point was just around work. It wasn't necessarily about life. And now let's fast forward to present day, Katie, and I still suffer from anxiety, whether it be with work or just personal things in life, like these big, massive changes. And, I do have medication that I've been prescribed. But I will say there are times where I find myself not having to take it because through this pivot process, I've actually learned that there are ways that you can kind of stop that. You can stop those feelings. So again, anxiety is just like, it's a whole giant thing that, there's just a lot of unknown around still, I think, just each person to person, like obviously scientifically there's all the research and everything, but, no, it is prevalent and
It's
it's
interesting how
difficult.
you started. Yeah, you started talking about the testing piece. And testing, was it like, would you get anxious because you wanted to do well and you weren't sure if you would? Did it have anything to do with performance?
I think it did, just knowing that kind of how I am with schooling and again, testing, like specifically, let's talk about math. It took me 2 years to pass remedial math. But again, math is not my strong point. So like, give me anything that I can count on 10
Mhm.
fingers. We're there. I'm good. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I know that I would study. I would have gone, like I had a tutor in college, for a couple different subjects. And it's just like, I would get there and I'm like, God, like, you walk in the door and it's just like, oh my God, there's like a 50-pound weight on my back. And then I sit at this chair and it's like, okay, like I know this is coming. And then she passes it and I'm like, Okay, Katie. Okay, let's
Well, I'm
go
wondering,
to our.
I asked the question, yeah, I asked the question about performance because I'm thinking about when I met you, and it was really because we work with people in relationships, relationship with self and others, and
Mhm.
there was this anxiety around these relationships that you felt like you weren't performing well in.
Yeah, man,
You know
that is
what I'm
that's
saying? It's almost like there's a correlation. I'm curious, what was on your painting when we did the healthy adult painting?
oh,
What was the word? Do
it's
you
the
remember?
I'm enough.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it's funny. I wrote
Yeah.
that down here on a little piece of paper as we're talking, because
Yeah.
when I'm thinking about this anxiety and the testing, it's like, am I enough? Am I going to get it right? Am I going to be okay? Am I going to be all right? And then this whole performance thing, and then also just you were already open about it. So when did you come out as being gay? Do you
I
identify
mean,
as gay? As
yeah, I mean at this point, yeah. Like I no penis, like no offense to the straights, like everyone out there, it's all good, but I chose a different route. I don't know. I kind of had my first go around, I would say, when I was in high school.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I guess I was just kind of I've always been that kid where like I didn't want to do something that would look or reflect poorly on me. So, I didn't want to have an accident and end up having a kid or something that could take me away from my goal of tennis or school, whatever, it was mainly tennis at the time. So I was just like, no, like I don't want to date. I don't want to date a dude. I don't want to date a dude. And then, I tried and I just, you know, there's something different about like a receiving from like another female. Like it's just it's like a loving place. I mean, also, we're women. We're pretty strong-willed. We can be a little snappy sometimes. Um,
Mhm.
so it's just I would say really like high school. I knew at that point. And
Okay.
we never really had that conversation, my parents and I, but it was kind of like always like, let's. And then also, my brother's gay, so we've got two gays in the family. Runs in the family, and my
You were
parents, we
supported. You were really supported there,
yeah, yeah, of course.
which I love. I love for you. I think that being enough peace, from going through all of that and then venturing into these relationships, as a young woman with a young woman, and then feeling like, is it going to work? Is it going to be okay? And it's interesting because you have these storylines that drive around performance and am I
Yeah,
enough?
yeah. I think
Am I going to
I think when I initially learned about the not enough
pain body?
uh pain
Pain.
body, yes, pain body, there it is. I initially thought abandonment because like I remember like when these people would leave me and they would stop texting me, and I mean it was abrupt. It's like you know
Mhm.
we go from playing house to boop, nope, done. I would be like distraught. That is an understatement. Anxiety ridden, panic attack having, crying on the
Mhm.
floor. Then I would get
Mhm.
mad and I would punch a wall or punch a floor because that's healthy. But I took everything out and thinking I was abandoned. And lo and behold, it really is just kind of that not feeling of being enough. And then that
Yeah.
questioning, like questioning yourself, like, well, did I do this right? Was that enough at that point? Was that enough? Was that and you know it followed through even into the last relationship, and I yeah, that one I still beat myself up for because i I really did like her quite a bit, and it's difficult because I know how poorly I treated her, and a lot of it was that alcohol aspect, and not being able to control that because when I first met her I was drunk, so why would she like me for who I am sober? And you know, I think that's the hardest part about that relationship is just not being able to let her kind of see who I am now. But again, we're growing in different directions. So all the best to her. But again, I've learned that I am enough regardless of the situation at hand. So, going into another relationship, which is I don't think it's going to be for a while because like I said, I've got a lot of work to do still. And I really don't want anything to derail me from what I'm doing. Um,
Yes.
but it's going to take a lot. I'm going to have to discern a lot. I know that's one of your favorite words. I'm going to have to discern a lot.
Mhm.
I'm going to have to really figure out kind of what I want and the future of what what it looks like for me. So, uh, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those relationships, man, anxiety ridden.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all that and opening up, Katie. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's just such a, I brought it up because it's just something that, can really stop people from stepping into choosing themselves, just because of being so uncomfortable and then just, oh, well, I'm anxious. I have anxiety. And that label, and for some people, a true diagnosis can really get in the way of
yeah,
just walking through it and stepping in like you did and breaking
yeah,
down those barriers and finding out, what's going on here. I'm
yeah,
curious with really knowing and understanding and naming that wound that you have, not enough, knowing that about yourself, and now stepping into sobriety and stepping into your class pass attack and all the other stuff that you're doing. Like, do you feel like you have more esteem some days?
yeah, actually, I will say, kind of the things that I've learned from obviously coaching and other sober folks around me. Actually, one of the women that was at the retreat with me, she's sober, so I've been leaning on her, kind of getting that support too. So, I never thought I'd walk out with like six good friends and look at me now. But no, I think with the sobriety, definitely the first bit of it, it was very difficult because it's like, okay, like I'm going through a lot right now. I know I could go to the bar, pick up a drink, and I didn't choose to. I chose to go throw myself into working out. And with that, there's just more steam. I have more drive to do it. Um, the one thing I will say that kind of offset a little bit was kind of that alcohol brain trying to regulate it. It kind of messed with my sleep a little bit. So I wasn't getting proper sleep. And I'm still kind of working through that issue right now. But I will say, I mean, overall, like I remember when I was drinking and I would have personal training, I'd already had paid for it. So there's $100 right there up front. And I'd be like, I'm hungover. I can't go today.
Oh,
And then they would be like, okay, well, you're late, so that's a fee. And then
mm,
also we can't reschedule you for like a couple days. So it's,
mm,
you know, just man, just being sober is cool. I never thought I would say that, because again, I was the party girl. I was the one that was like, yeah, let's go to 5 a.m. The sun's coming up, yeah. And seeing that complete change is just amazing. I mentioned it earlier to you, but I just recently did my first festival, like first big festival sober, and whew, that it was a lot. I went to Austin City Limits, so you walk into this giant field and you're with all these people, and it's like every single person is drinking, except for the kids that are like this big that are playing with their playing Uno or whatever while their parents are watching a show. Um, but I was able to do it, and I honestly didn't want to drink, like, because I remember all these festivals that I've been to, and it's you don't remember it. You don't know what you did. Well, why do I have 18 people's phone numbers in my phone? Why is my finger broken? Like literally, one time I fell off a scooter and almost broke my finger, drunk. But no, I just there's so much more drive and endurance and everything that kind of comes with just being sober and getting that out of your body. And I'm gonna keep on going with it, and I'm gonna keep pushing. And I definitely encourage anyone to give it a try. Like, I mean, it's start with a week, start with whatever you think you can do, because ultimately, at the end of the day, you are the one that's in charge of yourself. So if hey, I'm that person that picks up a bottle of wine when I leave work. Well, don't set your goal for a month. Be realistic here. And I know you mentioned something about you were talking about anxiety and things, and I think a lot of people we can rely on these kind of medications or whatever our doctors are giving us and say, oh yeah, that's it, like that's going to help it. And it's like, well, what's causing that anxiety at the end of the day?
well,
What deep down?
a lot of people rely on things right? To
Yep.
help them manage
Yep.
and tolerate their feelings. And people with social anxiety, that's one of
Yep.
the things that drives them, because it's not really just about the drinking, because again, we don't, that's not what we do. But we
Yeah.
do what we do for you, which is help you see what's getting in the way. And I love that you
Exactly.
stepped in and saw that that was so glaring for you, and you didn't have to be intervened on. And you got to
No.
see it for yourself by wanting to choose yourself and do what's
Yeah.
right and good for you. I love that part of your story so much, Katy.
Yeah.
And how is the socializing now? Do you feel, is the anxiety less not drinking? Is it more at first a little bit because you don't have that drink in your hand? I'm just curious.
I think I'm someone
I
where
think
people are like,
in
damn.
early recovery, people slip often because of the inability to do what you just courageously did, which was go to a festival, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Luckily I was with good people for that festival. But there was a day where I did it all by myself, and it's like, holy God, like I can do this. I can do this. I can talk to people. I feel secure enough in myself in that environment to be able to do this and not go pick up a drink. Literally, favorite drink there was they were making these mocktails, and it was with like pineapple and mango, and I think they put some mint in there and like a splash of like seltzer. It's so good. And it was refreshing because it was really great weather, but it was nice to have a cold drink. But no, even last night I went out and I saw this DJ that I haven't connected with in a while. I knew him when I lived in Oklahoma City, and he was playing and said, yo, come out. So I came out and I was like, I'm going to be by myself. So just let you know, like, I might be that odd person. He's like, you're not going to be alone. You're going to be with good people. And it's funny. I parked down the street and I walked up and I see him. He's outside. And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. Like, a little bit of relief because I was like, I've never been here. So there's always that anxiety of new place too. And it's a speakeasy. So tell me which door I need to knock on to get in. Is it this door, this door, this door? Is it the kitchen door? Like which one is it for the hidden speakeasy? So it was nice to see him. And then once I got in, he was doing his thing and I was just like, just having fun. And I know when I initially first started, I went to a show and I like at first I'm like, what do I do with my hands? What do I do? Like, I'm like, what do I do? And I was just like, whatever, who cares? Like, go have fun. And I kind of let all of that anxiety slip away because at the end of the day, I'm there to have fun. And I'm in charge of how much fun I have. So I can sit
Right.
there and be like, wow, what do I do? Just sit here with my hands in my pockets and stand there? Or do I shake my booty? And I chose option two, shook that booty. So, yeah.
You, so cute. Yeah. So you are having these pivotal moments. Often it sounds like where you just have to go, wait a minute, stop. I'm going to circle back and choose what's best for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how
How's
many
the
times
job?
you said my dad.
No, the job. So like
Oh, my job.
choosing what's best for you. How is that? How is that with your job?
Oh,
Because
dude,
I
it's
know that.
great. I mean, with my job, I always say I'm like a glorified assistant, which, at the end of the day, I'm much more than that. But, I do manage now 11 partners. I had one he's retired. That's a goal, retire by 50, man. Putting it out there, putting it out there. But no, honestly, it's been great. I'm able to not get overwhelmed when I have like an inbox full of emails of things that I have to do. It's just more about prioritizing too, kind of putting what's important up first. But that's something you have to know within yourself. And I'm going to sound like an old woman here when I say this, but this generation, man, of kids, the work ethic is just not there. I'm like I'll team someone and I'm like, why is it taking you 2 hours to get back to me when I see your Teams icon is green? And or if I know the person and then I take a lap around the office and I see them just sitting there jabbering about Taylor Swift or whatever she's doing in her cool bracelets or what Stanley Cup is the coolest color to get now. I'm like, bro, can you stop being a slapdick and just respond? So I find myself getting more angry in those aspects or upset in that aspect, but that's nothing really I can control. I just have to wait and I have to let my partner know. And, if they don't respond back soon enough, that's when the partner will reach out to the other person. And I'm like, well, that's on you guys. But no, overall it's going really great. You know, not super stressed out about it. Just take it a day at a time, kind of an email at a time.
Mhm.
So it's going really well, really, really well. And thankful for that job for letting me take 2 weeks off to go attend, uh, you know, the glass house. And then that I will say, this is the advice I could get. I would love to give anyone. Once you do that intensive, take the next week off if you can, because it just helps. Because it really is. Kelly told me, and my coach said it's like a snow globe when you leave. And it really was. I'm like, I'm crying. Now I'm happy. Now I'm upset. Now whatever emotion it was, it's all just mixed around and swirled around. And I'm going to tell you, if I had to jump right back into work,
Mhm.
it would have been a fucking mess. It would have been a
Yeah.
mess. And I wouldn't know what to do. I would have been calling out. So
Yeah. You need
yeah,
time to integrate it a little bit. Yeah. For some people,
exactly.
the weekend is enough, and
Yeah.
everyone's different.
Yep.
Everybody has a different experience. But I think in your case, and you admitted it early on in our conversation today, you really did take on a lot. Like you really said, you know what, I am going to own my body back. I'm no longer going to. You knew that you had a challenge with alcohol, and you jumped in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop. You knew that you had to regulate yourself around the compulsivity that was going on and reaching out to your ex, and this
Mhm.
thing with texting and calling, and all of that, and you stopped that. So you weren't just in withdrawal from alcohol, you were also in withdrawal from relationship, and which
Yep.
is intense for a lot of people, and then you also were taking time to be quiet inside so that you could continue to get to know that person in there that was dying to come out in a
Hmm.
different way. So I love your story. I just do. And you have so much courage. And the fact that you came in and in 5 days saw deep down what you needed to do to own your mental health, to really
Yeah.
take charge and control back, and utilizing your psychiatrist and your help and your support.
Hmm.
It's not about not having support, but you really honestly telling yourself the true story about who you are and what's going on
Yeah.
for you, and stepping into helping yourself,
Yeah.
girl. Back at you. There you go.
Can we have Father Glass? His little logo just come slide through. Yeah, no, man, I just, I just felt so lost, and I knew that something had to change. And if I continued how I was going, the road that I was going down, it was either I was going to end up dead, because I would probably end up killing myself, quite honestly, or I would end up in jail, or I would end up killing someone, or, whatever it may be around alcohol, because it was pretty bad, man. I can tell you, there was a lot of pop front tires and a lot of angry phone calls from my dad about, that. And he knows. He's like, I know what you were doing. You need to just stop and cool it. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And, it's been a wild ride. And then, throw in getting your heart broken while trying to heal yourself and just be a better person overall. And, you're hopeful to make that relationship work out, and kind of let that person see, who you truly are deep down. You just didn't know how to show it, or, you didn't know how to unmask that and not cover it up with alcohol, whatever it may be. And, it's been difficult, but, each day gets better. Each day gets a little bit easier. And, I know there might be someone listening who is going through the same thing, or going through a difficult time. And something that I've always been told is time. You just wait. Time, everything will heal everything. And there time, again, little anxiety factor here. It's like, well, when, like, when does this person want to talk to me? Is it going to be next week, or is it going to be in a month from now? Is it going to be a year? When is it going to be? Like, I need to know for myself. And, at the end of the day, you don't get those answers. You have to just really lean in and say, all right, I'm ready to do this work. I want to do it for myself. I want to change who I am, because I cannot continue doing what I was doing. And when people can get that down, they can do anything. Like, I mean, like, look at me boxing. I never freaking boxed before. Like, I've only seen it on TV, or like go see like stuff in Oxford, like when they have the little people boxing for like an event. But like, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just walked in. I was like, fuck it, let's try it. And it's just getting in there and knocking that initial anxiety off, or kind of whatever negative thoughts you're having in your brain. Because this thing right here is more lethal than I think anything that I've experienced, even alcohol. Like, I mean, our brains can be so cruel to us. So it's just changing that and wanting to change it, and knowing that it's in there, and just doing it. So yeah.
And new messages, right? Imprinting new
New
messages
messages.
that you can tell yourself from that place. Yeah, that's beautiful. Well,
Exactly.
you sure wrapped this up great. Thank you for that invitation for others.
Yeah.
I really like that. Yeah, and keep going, girl. It looks good on you.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm going to keep on going, and, see what happens. See what happens with it. And I'm excited. Like, like I said, this ride is wild, and I would have it no other way. And, I can't wait to see kind of everything that follows. So, thankful for you again, and everyone at the Glass House, Deb for helping me out, doing the one-on-ones, Fernando, Gabby for doing all the fabulous cooking. Everyone there, just the women I was around. I know I don't think I would be here, or kind of have gotten as much as I did if it wasn't for everyone there. So
Yeah.
literally from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for showing us what's possible.
yeah,
Yeah,
no problem.
definitely. All right, my dear. Well, I'm sure I'll see you one day at a festival. I hope.
Oh my God, we're gonna be festy girls. We're gonna plan out what outfits we're gonna wear. We're gonna figure out our mocktail situation. We got it. Yes, we are gonna be supporting Father Glass very soon.
You're so cute. All right. Well, we love you, honey, and thank you for stepping on here. I'm sure there's a lot of people your age that could benefit from hearing your story.